Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
And there we are. Welcome to another exciting edition of Treasure Talk. And Jeff and I both have been saved from the storm. We missed the bad stuff. So hopefully the rest of the country will fare as well as we did.
Did your power ever go out?
My power didn't go out at all. So I was knocking on wood for that. So I was glad that didn't happen. It didn't go off here at the shop either. I did have my internet go down shortly, but for some reason it came back an hour later. I don't know what was up with that.
Well, my power went off probably about 9 o'clock this morning, and it came back on, I think, just a little after, well, probably about 12:30. So it wasn't bad. As soon as my power comes back, my internet comes back. So.
Yeah, so just a lot of flooding, not in my particular area, but south of us. A lot of people got a lot of rain in a short period of time. So
yeah, we got a lot of rain and a lot of debris. But fortunately, this time for me, I think the last hurricane got, I think 14 of my trees.
Yeah, so all your trees were gone.
Yeah, well, the ones that were going to come down, I think, were down there. The ones I got left were bending a little bit. They maybe lost a couple of smaller limbs, but no trees came down, thank goodness. But there again, it was only, I don't know, a category 1. So,
yeah,
whatever that means. And we got lucky.
Yeah, we did.
Because it came in early. If it would have waited and come in about 60 or 75 miles north of where it was supposed to come in, we'd have been on the east side of the storm. And we'd have got hit bad then. But as it was, we were on the west side, so we didn't get all the nastiness. Thank the Lord.
Yes, and I'll probably get some reports from beach hunters. I think now probably the water's still too rough to get in, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, Phil, yesterday afternoon, they're down there swimming in Clearwater. They're swimming. I mean, it's going crazy down in Fort Myers. Those bozos are in the water swimming.
Yeah, swimming and surfing in the rough surf. Yeah. Well, I guess we better get going here because we have an excellent guest lined up for tonight, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot of cool stuff. So
yes, we are.
I better do my spiel here. As always, today's show is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where you see all these detectors and stuff behind us here, where we sell fun and adventure. And of course, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk guest and member belong to the guest and member, not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin.
True.
That's a lot to say. And of course,
yes, it is.
The purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting in all forms and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. I think I've said that before, haven't I, Jeff?
Yes, you have. We've been, what this is, we've been on 5.5 years. So
5.5 years. Oh my goodness. The time flies. I was looking at that commercial intro and I was thinking, man, I was a little younger in that. So it has been 5.5 years.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. But anyway, we have an excellent guest lined up tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do. As y'all have heard about the man from Uncle, well, we got the man from Deus tonight. What can I tell you? Deus. That's right. It's going to be good. So are you ready to get after it?
Yes. I did want to remind folks, Jocelyn is here and taking questions and helping me and Jeff here. And also Wednesday, she's going to have her other eye surgery. So call me before you come to the shop on Wednesday because I might be a little late.
And she's going to have bionic eyes.
Yeah, she can already see without her glasses, Jeff. She doesn't need her glasses anymore. And the one eye is 20/20 vision. So I won't.
You're not going to get away with anything.
Never again. So
she'll see all the stains, the key lime pie stains on your shirt.
Yes, she dresses me now, so um, she'll see
It's a
every.
good thing.
It
That's
is.
a good thing.
Yes,
So
for sure.
let's get Merrill on here before
Let's
we
get it.
as we digress.
Yes.
Okay, everybody, here we are. The man from Deus. Let's welcome Merrill.
Hey,
Hi,
everybody.
Merrill.
It's
Well,
good to be back.
welcome, Merle. And I guess what you need to do first is tell the folks where you're at and what your exact title is for Deus, what you do for, and
Yeah.
how long you've been detecting.
Okay. I'm coming to you today from Freeport, New York, which is out on Long Island. My channel is Metal Detecting NYC, and yeah, I've been given the honor of being XP's second ambassador. I've been doing YouTube forever. I have another uh, channel from when I still teach, but I taught art, and when I was doing my art channel, all I would watch were metal detecting videos and, Aqua Chigger. And there was this charismatic British gentleman, Gary Blackwell, that I would watch like all of the XP videos. And it just absolutely geeked me out. That was the detector at the time that just blew everything away. And, it's a constant evolution. And you have a lot of great stuff that has come out and will continue to come out. But to be able to do that, it just absolutely geeks me out. And America is, I don't want to say it hasn't been a focus. It sure has, but we're talking about being a continent away. I'm their person on the ground, and it's just me, in America. But I've been really enjoying going to different festivals that have happened, and meeting people, and getting to talk detecting with them. So I've been representing XP at events. I do videos on their channel now, in addition to Metal Detecting NYC. Um, that's it. Hope I answered that.
So, what is your title with Deus?
Ambassador.
Ambassador.
Um,
Okay.
Second ambassador. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Because yeah, they have the ambassador, I guess, in England, which is it Blackwell?
Oh yeah.
Gary Blackwell.
Gary
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Well, I wanted to put this comment on here. Jocelyn told me this is from Howard Hudson. He says Merle is a legend. I found his web page and YouTube page when I was a newbie, and learned so much from him. Thank you, Merle. I started following Merle and Treasure Talk at the same time. Yeah, I guess he likes
What
us.
an honor.
Yeah, he likes you being on here with us. So we
Thank
appreciate
you,
that.
Howard.
Yes. So what other did right now? So you have the Deus too, then, right?
Days two. Yep.
And your thoughts compared to other detectors?
I,
I'm going to
I
put you right
for
on the spot.
So I that's okay. For the longest time, like my business model was to buy and compare detectors, and I bought 23. And you could imagine after 23, like you could only swing one, and you have like this crazy selection down in your basement, but you could only choose one. And I found myself gravitating more and more to XP. And the breakthrough really was last year. I went on a trip, and I did great on the trip, but my antenna broke, and I started advocating. And they will listen at XP, and it turned into more conversations. And it's like, let's talk. We really like what you do. You could only use XP if you join us. But think about this. What does that mean? That means I get to work with engineers. I get to work with the people that make the detectors. And there's a difference between um, comparing detectors and really mastering. Like, this stuff doesn't stay in your head as much as it should. Especially when you get the numbers like up and up, like 23, 24, you start forgetting things. It's just, a flaw to our brains. And really, like, that question had been answered, and it was my business model. I continued it. When this opportunity came about, it was a no-brainer for me, and this was the detector that I loved. This was my go-to. So it was an absolute no-brainer. I know that that we have been serious for a long time to make the best detectors in the market, and always raise the bar. And that's why I decided to join XP. Um, it's one of the proudest things in my life. That's the truth.
Well, that's awesome. So you had 20, how many detectors you have in your basement?
23. My wife loved them.
23.
It's like an
Sweet.
art museum.
Yes. So the problem with that is, you like one detector for this, you like one for that. But that's a lot of different detectors to learn. And I think sticking with one like the Deus or Deus 2, I think that's an excellent detector. Sticking and learning one detector is hard as you get older, it's hard to learn all those different detectors. Oh, and this is the question that everybody wants to know. Does XP plan to introduce a smaller D2 coil, 5 or 6 inch? Now, you said you could talk a little bit about it. Just share with what
Yeah, the
you're
news
allowed
is
to say.
starting to break. Yes, there's going to be a high frequency coil coming out very, very soon.
That's awesome because that's the one question I get daily at the shop here. When's XP going to come out with the smaller coil or a high frequency coil?
Yep.
And that's just awesome because that detector functions so well. And as you know, it's extremely light. And I think if you put that smaller coil, there's some people who don't want to swing a 11, even a 9. They don't want to swing that. They want to swing something even lighter, and that would be considerably lighter, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I was using the 9 today. I went out for a little while and using the 9, and just it's so fast. It is just so fast. It is so light. That configuration is less than 2 pounds, and you could just whip it around everywhere. And it's made for those higher swing speeds, but sometimes in some cases you have to slow it down. There's the discovery swing, and then there's the honing swing, and it sure helps you with the discovery. And then when you find a target, then you're changing speeds on it, getting
Yeah,
information.
absolutely. And do you find that the Deus is harder to learn than other detectors?
I was scared of it for a very long time, but once you understand the overall, like there's three main menus on it. Once you understand that and understand the layout, it goes really, really fast, really fast. And
I
the
think
thing
so.
is, like they make it, we make it for people to just pick it up and go. It's not like you're going to have any issues if you don't want to go any further than the programs. There's different variables to it, but I would say that pretty much everything is accounted for if you try all of the different programs.
Yeah, even if you used one program, if you were new to detecting, I would have no problem selling a Deus 2 to somebody new to detecting. Just use the stock program out of the box till you learn it for a while. That's the easiest thing because I always tell people, the engineers in these companies know what they're doing and they'll make a program. Yeah, you might customize it later, but out of the box, if you're new to detecting, get the stock program and just go to town and learn it. That's my thoughts.
Well, the thing with the day is too, Phil, the stock programs, for the average detectorist, they will never change them a bit, and there's really no need to, because each different program will take you in. If you read your manual, it will take you through
Yeah,
almost any kind of detecting you want to do. And down the road, if you want to tweak some things, that's another story. But it's not necessary to do. I mean, that detector has got something for everybody right out of the box, and you're going to find stuff. It's really it's something else.
yeah, and that's the cool thing about Deus. They actually put a manual in the box. With some of the other detectors, don't do that, and so you do have that. Uh, well, that is a good question there from Rick Robinson. What would the advantages be for a higher frequency coil? I'll let you
Okay.
answer that, Merle.
I got a great answer for that. this was a great moment for me. I was sitting in France. They flew me to France, and Gary's in the room, who I've been watching his videos forever, and founder of XP, the whole XP team, engineers and everything. Gary was telling me about a Roman site, and Roman sites have been walked on. Roman Empire lasted a very long time. It just shy of 1,000 years, if I'm remembering correctly. So very long time. But the sites would be walked on, and shoes would be held together by these little shoe nails. And Gary was talking about Roman sites, and I'm used to, uh, the bottle caps of New York. That's our challenge: the bottle
Yeah.
caps and aluminum foil. Gary was talking to me about Roman sites and how it just sounds like a machine gun. It's like with the amount of iron that is there. And he said, and this was before the high frequency coil came out, he said one of the reasons that he holds on to the Deus One like so closely is because of what the high frequency coil does on those sites, being able to pick out, because higher frequencies, smaller targets, it really does well picking out non-ferrous items in a sea of ferrous.
Okay. So in real heavy iron, like an old fort site or the Roman site, that high frequency coil would uh, ferret out the non-ferrous targets easier.
Yeah, that 9x5 elliptical did. It was a killer.
Yeah. So, and for folks who wanted it even lighter, I think Tim Naylor had said the small coil with the WS2 master would be about as light as it gets, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Using that. And I will say the manual in the Deus 2 book, I couldn't figure out how to. A customer had asked me how to take a second coil and make a second detector using that master. But luckily, you can buy the master by itself, and it comes with that manual. And I was able to figure it out, just what parts you needed to do that. So it's nice having a different manual for the master. And it looks like you got another. You want to do that one, Jeff?
Yeah, from I don't know, it's 1.10. Just an idea, maybe an audible shutdown noise after 5 hours.
Audible shutdown noise after 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I'm not sure what that means. Audible shutdown. So in terms of, is that like pairing with the pinpointer? How that could, you send the thing out. I guess shutdown would be, like if you leave it on, just shutting it down.
That's the way I would take it. And I'm not aware of any of the detectors that have that. Are you, Phil?
Yeah, I'm not following the question.
Well, I guess the crux of the question, he wants them. He's suggesting that there be an audible shutdown noise, so to remind you to shut the machine off after 5 hours.
Or maybe it would do it automatically.
Maybe they could rephrase the question again, and then we'll just, we're happy to
Yeah,
answer
We'll address
any
that. Yeah.
questions. Just didn't understand that one. It's all good.
Yeah.
I've done the same.
Yep. And then we got another one from Sodfather. It kind of goes along with what we were talking about with the new HF coil. He has, can you give any insight about the new coil for the D2 that's coming soon?
Yeah, it's going to be, it's very much in the works right now. And if you look at XP's history, they don't push out stuff that is not finished, and they're very much like iron everything out and then release it and then develop it even more over time after you get user feedback. What really amazes me about XP, and if you think about this, been around since 1998, and if I'm not mistaken, 5 detectors, 26 years, 5 detectors, and build upon that number when there is like even more that can be done. But like if you think about it, Go Terrain has come out since the XP Days 2. The Extreme Hunter, the Ultimate add-on, Hold on. This is going to be a crowd pleaser. Hold on. 30, not even 30 seconds.
And we do have that question I see, Jeff, from Moose in New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we've got
This
another
thing-
kind of a verification we'll get to.
So this is an add-on. This is a add-on to the Deus 2 that did not exist. And I'm going to hold it like a guitar.
Have
And
you
it is
used
awesome,
that?
and I'm going to use it on a site very, very soon. But this is an add-on, and XP
Extreme
thinks
Hunter.
like that, and you have to understand they think very differently. A lot of times we assume that a new detector, and they're always working on stuff. I can't really, it's not my place to break any news. You know, I could talk about the high frequency coil, but I'm proud of this. And they're always working on stuff. You know, they're always working on development, but, you know, it comes out when it's ready and when there's a significant breakthrough that is going to happen. And as evidenced by this, there are going to be surprises along the way. And this was one of them. For
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't know, that's, and I hope I'm not getting too off topic with this.
No.
Extreme
We got
Hunter,
topics
it
all
goes
over.
down 16 feet. So if you're looking for larger items, you know, that were perhaps buried, you know, 16 feet, it goes down.
Yeah, I have one of those in stock here at the shop, the Extreme Hunter. I've sold a couple of them already. I don't know if the people found anything with them or not yet, but have you used that yet?
I have. They trained me on it in France. And to be honest, in parks, I'm like, I don't know if that's the place. I just got a really, really good permission. This has been the one that I'm dying to use, and videos are coming with this very soon.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Moose in New York is asking, hi, Merrill, Tim from Long Island.
Hey,
What
Tim, that's
coil-
my neighbor right there.
Yeah, what coil are you using at the beach?
You know, that's interesting. I have used the 13-inch coil for coverage for so long. And one day I noticed it was getting low in batteries. And I love having the extra one in my backpack. And I switched it to the 11. And the 11 you could get, I don't know, maybe like an inch or two difference.
God dang it,
The
Justin.
13-inch, you know, I've easily pulled stuff at like 20, 21 inches. We're talking like dime, quarter-sized targets, you know, at that depth. You know, you're giving up like an inch or two, maybe with the 11-inch coil, maybe 3 inches, but it goes plenty deep. You don't want to dig forever. And you want to cover ground, and you start noticing, like, you know, if you take a little bit more weight off, you could swing longer. You know, so I've been more towards the 11 this summer because I'm trying to like get into the XP mentality. Like they really taught me a lot when I was there, and they're like, no, it has to be comfortable. Even my stance when I detected, they noticed, you know, that I kind of like go like this sometimes, like, no, lengthen the coil, you know, change your posture. And it takes a while for your body to adjust to that. But I'm worried, you know, I'm thinking about ergonomics, I'm thinking about comfort. And yeah, it makes me detect longer. And I'm having one of the best summers of my life.
Cool.
Well, I think we've got a little more on that audible noise sound from this 1.10. He said, no, it switches off after 5 hours without warning. I have been walking for 10 minutes, not realizing it turned itself off. Personally, I think there's something wrong with the charging technique because you're not getting enough charge either on the coil or the headset. That's what's causing it to go out after 5 hours. Because mine, I got it in the water sometimes 8, 9 hours at a stretch, and I never have a problem unless I run out of battery. And that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe you've got a short or something. I don't know.
If
do you
there's
think,
any
Merrill?
issues, you've got 5 years that, you know, you could send it in to the people who sold it to you. So make sure you do that if that's the issue. But if it's a charging issue, when I first started with the Deus, it's different. Let's face it, it's definitely different. there is that learning curve. I mean, you asked me the question before. Can you just go with the Deus? You can. There's a little bit of a learning curve with like charging it because you're charging the coil, you're charging the remote or WS6 pinpointer if you want. So there's an adjustment with that, but it shouldn't shut off after 5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, there must be some issue there. So this one looks like it's from Rick Robinson. Will the battery be in the coil or stem on the new coil? Will it be lighter than the 9-inch?
It's the stem, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's the stem.
They put that battery in the stem. It's like a little piece with a hardwired. Okay. And then I saw another question come through, I think from Sam, and she was asking, will that coil be good for gold prospecting?
Yeah, high frequencies. I went with the ORX and the high frequency coil, and it's very capable. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good choice for prospecting, because the higher frequencies, of course, are going to do better than on small gold for sure.
Yes.
So, and then this one is from Adele. I wonder if they would ever produce the switchable remote like the one I showed you from Europe. They would sell a ton of these for people who need to constantly switch arms.
That's my buddy Adele. Hey, Adele, how are you?
Anyway, did you see your question there?
I see the question there. Adele, I was a little bit fixated. So I went to a trip in Pittsburgh, an event right outside of Pittsburgh. The most talented gardener I have ever met was Adele. And I remember you showing me this, and I was with my buddy Carlos. Her garden was like going to the botanical gardens. So Adele, please forgive me if I missed that. That one I'm not sure. But it was so great to meet you, and I was so impressed with your garden.
Awesome. So anyway, with getting back to fines, with you're using the 11-inch coil on the beach now, correct?
Yeah.
But did you find that the 13-inch went deeper and covered more ground? Why did you go to the 11? Just because it's more comfortable?
It's lighter, it's more comfortable, and I'm at the point of my journey where I want to try everything. And I want to like really have like global, complete global understanding of everything. I can't be Gary in one day. I can't. Gary was here for the development of very many products, and I'm humble. I'll say that, and I've said that, and I'm continuing to learn. I've learned an awful lot this year, that's for sure. But in order to do that, you need time and you need repetitions.
Right.
And I want to try everything, so that goes into my decision too.
Absolutely. I have a customer who uses and he's older, and he uses the 13-inch coil in the water at the beach. He only hunts in the water because his body won't allow him to hunt up on the beaches. But he made himself a bumper around that coil. It's like a fan so it slices through the water easy. And he'll hunt for 6 or 7 hours. It's made out of epoxy, just so it just was more water dynamic, I guess. But
That's
he loves
incredible.
it. Yeah, I thought it was when he showed it to me, and he's done similar things to make his hunt easier. So I understand using the 11-inch coil or using a smaller coil to make the detector lighter for sure. Well, this question we get every week from Tim Naylor, and he wants to know your most unusual find.
Wow. Okay. Grills off the top of my head. That's not unusual, though. I've seen other people get that. The crematory tags, those always freak me out a little bit. It has to be the dentures, not the dentures. The after somebody is cremated,
The
Their
cap,
fillings and stuff.
fillings and caps, yes.
Yeah.
yeah, because you're holding that and you're like, okay, yeah, that's morbid. So that's one. I've had quite a few unusual finds, though. I'll have to think about that some more. But
Okay.
I've listed a few unusual things.
Yes, the crematory tags, I always call them the reminder tokens. Remind yourself to get out there and do what you love to do, for
Yes.
sure, because we're all going to be there one day. But
Yep.
Do we have any idea when the high frequency coil will be released?
It's very XP not to rush things. The fact
Mm-hmm.
that it's become public knowledge means
Means
that it's
soon.
soon. I
yeah,
don't know the exact date. It would only be speculation, and it's going to be soon. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, I remember with the Extreme Hunter when that came out, it was like they started advertising it, and then within a month we had them. So I'm
Right.
not saying that's going to happen with the small coil, but who knows?
Well, I think it probably will, Phil, because you remember everything else that Deus has come out with. When it's released, the information's released, the product itself follows fairly closely.
Yes, for
You know,
sure.
they let people know it's coming. They go, oh yeah, they get their orders in, boom, they ship it, and boom, there you go.
Yeah. And we got a question from Bobby Kulik. Do you ever hunt the Jersey Shore?
That's on my to-do list. There's a great Facebook group that is the Jersey Shore Beach Detectorists, and I'm friends with a bunch of the guys there. We speak on Messenger quite a bit. Um, I have not made it down there. There's something about New York and traffic, and I've just got so many beaches by me that are like within 30 minutes because I live on the South Shore of Long Island, and I just I try to hit multiple beaches each week, and I just never made it down there. I've spent too much time in my life in traffic, but I will. One of these days I will.
Okay. Well, how was the traffic in France?
Not as bad. Not as
Okay.
bad. I was kind of chauffeured around. I was kind of like they treated me really, really well. Um, and like it's outside of Toulouse. Castanet is the name of the town that XP is headquartered in, and it's outside of Toulouse, which is like the tech hub of France. Like Airbus has a headquarters in Toulouse. Castanet is about maybe a little bit less than an hour outside of Toulouse, and it's kind of rural. There's farms everywhere. It's like a little town in the middle of like beautiful farming country.
Did you
So
get
no traffic.
did you get the opportunity to hunt there?
They're very restrictive in France. I could say unofficially that the beach they're okay. I went to the beach. I hunted the beach in France, and the founder, his backyard has he was kind enough to let us detect a little bit there. But the archaeologists have a lot of power in France, and it's very yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough because it's such a cool detector. And before the Deus 2, most everybody who used the Deus was a relic hunter here in the United States anyway.
Yeah.
Because I had customers who swung in. Jeff, you had the Deus 1 also. And
Mm-hmm.
because they were so light and it just made for a long day hunting could be done because they're just extremely light. And it looks like we got some questions. The first one you skipped through there, Jeff. Tim
I
Naylor,
didn't skip it.
did you eat the escargot?
I did. So, listen, escargot is no problem. That's protein right there. I'm a little bit. I don't get adventurous with cheese too much in America. In France, I couldn't believe this. Like a member of the XP's team, son, did some cooking. The first day that I was over there, and he was studying to be a chef, and he was doing sketches of the meal before, and it was like 4 or 5 courses, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not used to this. Even McDonald's over there, like there's plastic that's involved. You wash the plastic, you put it back. There's different items on the menu. Like it is so different, so different.
Hmm.
He was
Interesting.
sketching out the plating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
they
like
do that.
artistry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we got the question there from Dirty Paul's Detecting. Do you prefer beach or land hunting?
I go back and forth with that. Right now, I'm in total beach mode. I love the beach. I did some land hunting today, and I realized that it was my first time in a month that I put on shoes. I'm a teacher during the year, and when you're off for the summer, you got no reason to put on shoes. Just put on flip flops. So I put on my shoes today. I did some land hunting, but right now my mind is very much at the beach. I just love the sound, of the waves, coming in. I don't mind a rogue wave. If a rogue wave wants to hit me, that's cool. Um, that's where a little extra weight comes in. You don't get pulled out there, So I just love everything about the beach right now.
Okay. Well, it looks like Luis Villarreal said, I made a waterproof LED strip and I mounted it on the front tip of my coil when I do beach hunts and in the water when I guess it helps in pinpointing before the dig in the dark waters. Well, I try not to hunt in the dark waters, and I'm not hunting at nighttime in the water either. But I understand, yeah, that would be a cool way to identify your coil. And then we had a question that disappeared. Oh, there it is. Question for Merle. What's the oldest coin you found in Prospect Park?
I want to say hi to Luis first. He's commented on my channel for like many years. Hey, buddy, thanks for joining us. Prospect Park. I've known people that have pulled reals there. I mean, George Washington like ran through um, the Battle of Brooklyn and the retreat, and there was. I know of reals being pulled there. Earliest coin that I pulled there was 1842. Silver dime.
Nice. So that'd be a seeded silver. Is that what that is?
Seated. Yep.
Seeded
Cap
silver.
bust is what tortures me. I've not found one yet.
Ah, how about a gold coin? Have you found a gold coin?
I got into this doesn't count. The answer is no to that. I did a seeded hunt, and you know how they put tokens down in the seeded hunt, and it turns into something else. I lucked out. I got one of those tokens, and I got a gold coin that way. But that's not the
Yeah,
official way of getting a gold
yeah,
coin.
that's not the same. Well,
No.
the key day kid asked, "How many Beach Better Have My Money shirts do you have?"
Zero. I do have a rap about that though. If you look really hard on my channel, we kind of remixed that slogan. we got really creative with things early on, especially. I guess we calmed it down a little bit, but during the pandemic, I think I wrote 150 rap songs, of course, all themed by metal detecting. Yep.
Okay.
I
And
know there's no response to that. I know. It's all good.
well, I always said the beach, you're going to get more valuable targets on the beach, but
Yeah.
land and relic hunting, you get the cool stuff. You
Yes.
know, if you're looking for profit, I guess you would probably have to hunt beaches, popular tourist beaches, and get it that way. But if you're hunting land or relics, you get the cool stuff, the historic things, the things. Oh, I had a question. Do you use any of your detecting in your classroom with your kids?
I've done a few programs because, like, right now I'm a business teacher, and I
Oh,
teach them pretty much about YouTube. I teach them about, some of the stuff that I've done. I've made my own product, a beach scoop, honey badger scoop. Bring it to market, design it, and such. Um, I've done some detecting because the question comes out like, "Hey, are you going to take us detecting?" And I'm like, "Sure." And we got a big campus. It's all fill there, fill dirt, but still, there was a ring that was found there. So
oh
yeah,
yeah,
we did some detecting there.
people lose stuff everywhere. The
Yeah,
Moose is asking, any plans on the Ryzen XP working on a new detector technology?
always, always. Now it's not. It would be wrong of me to break any news before any new, before it's not my place to say that is what I'm saying. I'm ambassador, but the time will come. Um, they're always working on stuff. I was amazed at how many engineers that I met when I was in France. and it just further, fortified my belief that, this is the right place for me. I want to be with a company that is progressive. And I definitely feel XP has proven to be that. Deus One was light years ahead of its time. And in terms of updates to metal detectors, XP brought that to the market. Now everybody does that. It was XP. One thing that this is kind of like my big message for the year, and my big takeaway. XP has been around since the late 90s, maybe about 26 years or so. And I think it's 5 detectors that have come out. So just think about that. We get a lot of hype that gets put out, a new detector coming out. Is it light years better than the previous model? Ask yourself that. XP puts out stuff when they feel that it can go above and beyond the previous model, like significantly. And what it does instead is it develops the detectors. So, again, this is the most obvious thing. I know I held this up a while back. This did not exist when the Deus 2 came out. Of course, it was something that was in the plans. They're always planning stuff. Go Terrain also. Go Terrain is very crucial. You can now see where you've walked. You could it syncs with the detector, and you swing over something. You could say how many times that you're going to swing over it on Go Terrain, and it marks it on the GPS. So what they do, instead of like selling you something new every year, is they want you to know, like, we're going to take care of you moving forwards, because what you just bought, you're not just getting this, you're getting more. And like the cost of Go Terrain, I mean, for the data, I think it's like there's a plan that's like $9 per year, and that just cancels out the data that they need to do that. I think there's also a plan that's 20, so it's like dirt cheap. Try to be fair with the pricing. There's always stuff that's going to be on the horizon, and yes, there's more stuff coming. It's not up to me to say what it is or when, but I'm really proud of XP and the ethos that they have in terms of like not creating hype, just putting stuff out when it can really make an improvement on what already was brought to market.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they did that with the Deus too, for sure, being able to dive with that. No other detectors are like that you could dive with for sure. You want
Yeah,
to get
that's
that
right.
one, Jeff?
Yeah, before we do that, for our giveaway tonight, we are giving away a Myers swag pack, which will
Yes.
probably have a Zazic and a couple of new items in it. Plus, as always,
We got to give them
as
one
you
of these.
know, the coveted
Towel.
towel.
You got that.
That's a no-brainer. So I'm going to pop that up on the screen and let everybody start getting registered. What you do is you put it exactly as I have it in the chat, and you'll be entered for the giveaway. So here we go. There you go. That's what you put exactly as I have it in the chat, and you will be registered for the giveaway we're going to do in a few minutes. So I'll leave that up there for a second, and Merrill can answer the questions.
Yeah. So Blessed Adventure says, has Merrill unlocked and new treasures, and what is it unlocked? Oh, gee. I don't. You have to decipher that one, Merle.
So unlocked. I have traditionally on my channel, although I've been slowing it down a little bit, I have unlocks. And basically, when you find a piece of silver, that means you've unlocked Haagen-Dazs. That's one of my favorite foods in the world. The doctor is kind of slowing me down a little bit, and I'm starting to get up there. But yeah, we still celebrate. Let's see. Gold is sushi. Platinum is all you could eat buffet. We're foodies, very much. So I think over the years I've made about 20 unlocks, but then I started watching one of my videos that I found like 15 of the 20 items, and I'm like, okay, about 10 minutes of this video are unlocks. So I'm in the process of like, I guess I'm known for that, but I'm trying to, I don't want to bore people. Let's put it that way. So we're kind of reining it in a little bit.
Okay. And it looks like Dave Murray is saying, what is the best metal detector for beach detecting, in your opinion? Well, we know what that is.
I hope people trust that the reason that I joined XP, it goes beyond, sure, they pay me, they do, but it goes beyond that. If you own 23 detectors, do you think you want to compromise? Like, there's no way. Like, I could go and just like have something less than the best. So when the best approached me and said, "Hey, would you like to be ambassador?" That's a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer. I can't.
Yeah. So, how long have you been their ambassador? When did that start?
It started. It's been just about a year. I think it was November of 2023. It became official.
And what hunts have you gone to, or events here in the States have you done?
I went to one in Florida, the Sunshine Silver event. I went to one in Texas. I'm going to be going to Kadoha in Arkansas. Dig stock in no, I did dig stock in February. The Chicago one, Chicago Dig Fest, Staten Island History Hunters event in Staten Island. That's my hometown one. I'm reading this now. My memory doesn't work that well. Granite State Treasure Hunters Club in New Hampshire. It was the seated Civil War hunt in Longview, Texas. So, this is another thing. I'm getting to see the country. I've always wanted to do that, and it's been really cool.
Oh, that's an interesting question from Metal Detecting with PJ. Can the Deus go underwater with no cable?
With no cable, you want to have the cable on it. Basically, if you have like the coil under the water, because it's a radio signal to the box, like it's not going to work. So you want the cable, when it's water. Water affects the radio signal.
Yeah. So everything's wireless. So if you're out in the field, you're fine. You're golden. You can use anything you want. You don't need the cable. But if you go underwater at the beach, you're going to need that to communicate with it for sure.
Yep.
Oh, this is from Dig 5050. Now, this is an interesting question. Merrill, any tips on setting up a Deus 2 for a seated hunt?
Oh, you got to watch the latest video on the XP channel. Because it does it, and that's cool. It goes into it. You want to be on Deus Mono. You want to choose a very vague frequency, and you want to run it very fast. Anything that's a seated hunt, we're talking about surface. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I always tell people here, because at our hunts, our club hunts, they'll do them on the beach. They don't bury anything. They just drop the silver coin, and you got to be really fast. So I always tell people, use your smallest coil. Just be real quick with it. I use a hand scoop or a scoop that you mount on your waist and just hunt really fast, because it's over in 20 minutes. They'll put out $2,000 worth of silver, and you got to be fast. So work on your speed for sure. And the Deus is light enough, and I think that small coil would be good for that too, because I never pinpoint with the detector. I just whip the coil, and I know where the target's at, and then just scoop with a fast hand scoop. You don't want a big beach scoop, that you dig with your foot. You don't want that. You want something you can be really fast with for sure. Yep. So, Jeff, are we going to do a drawing there?
Yes, we are. Let me get this up here. And let's go and let's do it.
And hopefully it'll be somebody new.
You never can tell. Detecting Adventures is the winner.
Adventures is the winner. Sweet.
Very good. So, Detecting Adventures, what you need to do is you need to send your name, address, and your phone number, please. And shirt size to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. I don't know what happened to it. It was taken down. Let's get it back.
There we go.
treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. Send your name, address, phone number, and t-shirt size, and then we will get it to the shop, and you'll get your prize out to you probably Saturday when Big Poppy is in the shop, and it probably will have a snack
Yes,
item
some
involved.
artwork on the snack. Yes, for
That's
sure.
right, an artistic snack item.
Yes.
So, sounds like a plan to me. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And I think Jocelyn had that other question up from Stacy R. Does the Kodaha in Arkansas have a 2024 date set? Are you going
Yep.
to that, Merrill?
I will be there.
What's the-
Kadoha is going to be, looks like the 11th through the 13th of, although these were my travel dates. It's somewhere around the 11th to the 13th of October. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably some nice weather in October. That's why
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything here in the summer because it's one, we got hurricanes, and two, it's pretty darn hot with 100% humidity here sometimes. So, Merrill, do you this one is from, I saw one from Bill Crow. Merrill, do you find much Civil War relics or in New York?
We find the occasional mini ball. There were a lot of soldiers that were stationed in New York. I found the heel plates quite a bit in New York. Surprisingly, some on beaches. Civil War stuff. I think there's other parts of the country that saw more, but there definitely was. I've found some. I found some.
How about Revolutionary War stuff?
Yeah, you find Revolutionary War stuff, musket balls and such. I think you see that at higher frequency. Although all of the good places, that's getting gobbled up really quick.
Are they being built on, or what do you mean by
Yeah.
gobbled up?
Even so, I've been detecting 12 years now, and a lot of the sites that I used to go to are no more. A lot of the schools, they don't want to pay gardeners anymore, and they basically are turning their fields into complete astroturf. And schools were my go-to for the longest time, and then parks, and then the woods. But it's less and less because stuff gets developed. People need places to live. There's shortages everywhere, at least for affordable. And how do you get it more affordable? You add to the supply, and there goes the land. So
Yeah.
that's what's been happening.
Yeah. I saw a question on here from Dan Jones, and he says, Merle, have you used the ORX? And if so, did you like it?
Yeah, very much. That's one that I trained on when I was in France. I have mine here. I used that for gold hunting. A lot of people don't know if you pair that with the high frequency coil, it is a formidable gold detector. So I used that. In terms of depth, capability, sound quality, it's very much, a very formidable machine. Some would say a lighter, not light in terms of weight, but in terms of features, lighter version of the Deus One. But yes, a formidable machine.
Now, they're still manufacturing that in the Deus One, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did they have a date when they were going to stop doing those? No.
I don't know. It's not really like my place to say that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I can definitely say, like for sure, there is a commitment to excellence with XP, and it's Deus One is especially like that is the historic detector that's there, and there still is a place for it in metal detecting. However, I just did a video on the XP channel, and this is coming from engineers. Like everything, once we get the high frequency coil on the Deus 2, everything that was possible, every parameter that a Deus 1 had can fit within the Deus Mono program. So the way that they think of things at XP, it's very different. It's like, okay, let's bring the Deus 1 with us.
Yeah,
Deus 1 lives inside the Deus 2
in the mono program.
in the mono program. You can
Yeah,
do
that's
everything.
yeah, that is really cool that they do that. And I know you have on Deus products, you have a 5-year warranty, and I think they're committed to manufacture it 5 years later than that, parts availability. So I think that's what I read. But it looks like we got another question from Sam Truckley. Do you get private permissions from older home sites? If so, have you found anything good?
I've been really fortunate. A lot of people have offered me, places to dig. Um, I've just been so busy lately. I have not taken them up. Like I've said yes, and then I'm like, let me get back to you. Then life gets in the way. Teaching, parenting, um, XP. My point is, uh, the latest stuff. Like I'm very much making this priority to go on. So you're going to see some of that on my channel, like in the future. Private permissions are definitely the way to go. I mean, you could think of it as, if you're trying to do all of your digging in a park, yeah, it's diminishing returns, there. But there's so much land that's available that has not been touched. But you just have to have the nerve to make those connections. So yeah, that's got to be in every metal detectorist's repertoire to secure that.
Okay. Um, I just wanted to comment real quick to my buddy Rich Van Valkenburg. The drawing's already taken place, my friend. You signed on a little bit too late today.
And we
Anyway,
got time. One
pardon?
last question here.
Yeah, one last question. You want to ask it?
No, you go ahead.
All right. So we talked about the Deus product, and I'll say this on Deus: the only complaint I have with my Deus 2 is I don't like where we charge it at being the same port. You can tell the folks at Deus this being the same connection as where we charge it, and our headphones are on the same one. I knew they did that for a reason, but I would so like it if it was two different ones, so I didn't have to unplug my headphones because I use plug-in headphones like the Bone headphones. I think those are awesome headphones for detecting because then in the water we can wear any hat we want. We're not stuck with just a baseball cap. But here's a question. This is from Tim Anderson. I don't quite understand it. Have you used a Manicore? Maybe he's asking for a depth comparison from the
I
Deus
have.
2.
I can't talk on any other detectors
Okay.
anymore.
All right. Well, that's fine. I'll
Yeah,
say it. They're both extremely deep detectors.
I
And
was going to answer it. Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, Deus 2, it's on the XP channel. There was a test. If you're talking about absolute perfect conditions in dirt, you could go down 20 inches for a coin that is about quarter size. Absolute perfect conditions. The furthest that I've gotten on dirt is 15 inches to 16 inches for a coin that size. On the beach, I could exceed that.
Yes.
Um, there was something really interesting that I've been tuning into, that I've been speaking. Um, there's power, and there's also the circumference of the coil. Most detectors, like coils, are made so that you could find coins. That's been the popular thing to pull. And if you get the coil too big, yeah, a lot of people know the coil will. If you have a bigger coil, you could definitely go deeper. But if you get the coil too big, it's not going to be able to find coins. Like for instance, this huge detector, this goes down 16 feet, and guess what? This is the Deus. So the Deus, you could say, goes down 16 feet
16
with this
feet. Yes.
add-on, but this
Yes.
add-on is not going to find individual coins. It's going to find hordes of coins, but the coil on that, the two parts, is absolutely huge.
Right.
15 inches, 16 inches, maybe that's the max for, finding coins. But if you take the circumference of the coil, it's the circumference of the coil plus power. And
Right.
that's how deep that you could go with the metal detector. But it's mostly the circumference of the coil.
Yeah. And I think if there's moisture in the ground, like at the beach, you'll go a little
Sure.
deeper. and all that. Well, Merrill, it looks like we're at our time limit here. So that hour, yes, that hour has gone by extremely fast. So I want to thank you for coming on here with me and Jeff, and thank you, Jocelyn, Jeff, and thank you to many folks on Treasure Talk. And I'll turn it over to you, Jeff.
Alrighty, everybody. And we thank Merrill for coming on tonight. I know people have been chomping at the bit for this show
Yes.
to get their questions asked about the Deus 1 and 2 and new things that are coming. And we got to thank Merrill for coming on and being 100% upfront and honest with us. And we appreciate that. So we want to thank Merrill. Thank you. Thanks, Jocelyn. Thanks, Phil. And everybody, be sure you're with us next week when the people from Nocta will be here. I will be coming at you from the beach. Well, hopefully this storm turned up a lot, took some sand out, so we're going to find a lot of goodies. But we'll be coming at you next week from the beach when Nocta and Dillick wants to give away a score 3. So what can I say? We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Happy hunting and dig deeper. And remember, if Phil doesn't have it in stock, you don't need it. See you next week.
See you, folks. Happy hunting.
Thanks, everybody.
And dig deeper. Yeah, thank you, Merle. Appreciate you coming on here with us.
Always fun.